We're going to talk about it more then in Global Grid now, and Philip Turle from our International Affairs Desk is joining us for that. Philip, first of all, just tell us a little bit more then about the origin of these protests.
Well, here it is. This is Guadeloupe. It's always described as being a bit like a butterfly to look at.
Yeah,
Pointe-à-Pitre is the coastal capital city there. It's a French overseas territory, or the French West Indies, as it's sometimes called. And it is part of France. It's under the same rules as France. It uses the euro. It is a French overseas territory since 1635. It's discovered by who? Christopher Columbus. He was the one who gave it the name of Guadeloupe. Population 387,000. They speak French. They also speak Creole. Now, that is the way the islands are set up. The problem is that it's a long way from mainland France, and there is growing frustration in Guadeloupe about the way that the French government, based in Paris, is treating them. And this has all come to a head, as you've just been hearing in that report, with the demand by the French authorities that firemen and hospital staff have to be obligatorily vaccinated because the French government is saying that they are in the front line. They are the ones who are most at risk of catching the coronavirus. And if they catch it, they can transmit it on to the people they're trying to take care of. This has gone down very badly with the people in Guadeloupe, many of whom are not vaccinated, many of whom are suspicious of the French government. We've seen these protests. There is a general strike. There have been troops sent into Guadeloupe from mainland France to try to quell the situation. But over the last couple of weeks, things have gone from bad to worse. And many people in Guadeloupe say, well, they don't really know where this is going to end, where this is all going to lead. And in mainland France, the President Emmanuel Macron has put his foot down and said he cannot let just a minority of people orchestrate the health situation in Guadeloupe to their own desires. And the French Prime Minister, who's been meeting yesterday with officials from Guadeloupe in Paris, has said that the situation there is totally out of control, and also he is not going to put up with any more of these protests. So a real standoff being created there between mainland France and Guadeloupe at the moment.
Yeah, and Emmanuel Macron is saying nobody should be taken in by what he called lies and manipulation. I mean, it doesn't sound like Emmanuel Macron is ready to compromise.
No, he's not ready to compromise. And, of course, this is not just a row which has blown up over the coronavirus. This is a sign of a much deeper malaise in Guadeloupe, which has been brewing over the past few years and which has all come to a head recently with the appearance of the coronavirus. I think a lot of frustration amongst the people of Guadeloupe. They're being basically left behind by mainland France. I'll give you some facts and figures, if you like, Stuart, to illustrate this. There are feelings there's great inequality. 34% of people in Guadeloupe live below the poverty line. That is twice the mainland average of France. There are higher prices. Here's an example for you. If you want to buy some French-made butter that is produced here in mainland France, you'll pay about €1.70 for that pack of butter here. If you buy it in Guadeloupe, because of the travel cost, shipping it over there, it's going to cost you €2.40. The problem is that salaries there are not following on. So people say we're not having the salary increases necessary to be able to pay for the goods that we need to buy on an everyday basis. Gas prices, for example, we've seen this incredible increase in gas prices over the last few weeks. There's been a €10 increase in the price of a bottle of gas over the past 2 years. Salaries, they say, are not following on, so people are poorer. So that is also another bad factor. Unemployment in Guadeloupe is about 17.5% compared to only 7.5% here in mainland France.
What about vaccinations, Philip? Has it convinced people to get vaccinated at all?
Not really, Stuart. Vaccinations are still much lower. I'll give you a figure here. 40.3% of adults vaccinated in Guadeloupe compared to only 75% here in mainland France. And one other factor which I think has hindered the idea of people getting vaccinated is the fear that was created over the so-called chlordécone scandal. This was a pesticide that was banned in 1976 in the US, but was continually used in Guadeloupe up until 1993. It's caused prostate cancer, it's caused problems. And many people say, well, literally, mainland France was lying to us back then. They may be lying to us now. We're not going to get vaccinated. And this has exacerbated the situation.
Philip, thanks very much. Philip Turle, International Affairs Editor with today's Global Grid.